one's targeting those kids. You got targeted because you wanted to be, because you sought out the most eligible man and bachelor in the world.
She has gone into a homeless shelter minutes after doing that, like actually sincerely speaking to people who don't have a home to live in. Yeah. She is then putting up content showing her in a $1,500 jacket, a similarly priced skirt.
The Duchess of Duplicity is back. Yeah, again. And this time it's messier than ever. She said she wanted peace, right? Privacy? So why does she suddenly pop up in Australia with cameras rolling like it's a movie set? Something doesn't add up here. Today, we're digging into 13 real moments from that tour Meghan Markle probably wishes nobody noticed. And trust me, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Now look, Meghan knows how to work a camera, no question. Every angle, every smile, flawless. Yeah, we get it.
In suede, honestly, and what she can get from this is 10 to 25% of the sale of each item. Now, she says that she's showcasing little-known brands and bringing attention to fashion designers and that sort of thing,
But that Australian tour, that wasn't random, not even close. She walks into Macaulay Community Services for Women, an emotional place helping women through serious struggles. And boom, cameras everywhere, smiles, handshakes, perfect lighting. But wait, was that really about helping, or was something else going on behind the scenes? Because here's where it gets interesting. While the world is busy praising her kindness, those same moments are being snapped, shared, pushed everywhere. And at the exact same time, yeah, Meghan is quietly posting her outfits on a brand new fashion platform called One Off. So now you have to ask, was this charity visit genuine, or was it perfectly timed exposure? Same photos, same exact moment, but now, yeah, they're being used to sell a $1,500 jacket and a suede skirt. Wait, what? How does a charity visit suddenly turn into a fashion rollout like that?
Front-ending it with all the good works and that sort of thing, all the nice hospitals, the homeless charities, the veterans, and then there's the commercial sting at the end. Or actually what Meghan's done is gone straight from homeless charity to uploading her clothes for sale, and she's getting commissions from this new...
And here's the twist that really makes you pause. Back in 2020, the late Queen made it crystal clear, no using royal titles for business. So why does it feel like the Duchess name is quietly doing a lot of heavy lifting here? Is this still charity or something way more calculated? Now it gets even more uncomfortable. Meghan walks into a youth mental health conference in Australia. Real people, real struggles, real anxiety filling that room. You'd expect the focus to stay on them, right? But within minutes, the spotlight shifts. Suddenly, she's talking about being one of the most trolled people in the world. Wait, did she really say that to a group already dealing with their own battles, and then tells them to be stronger? That moment had people looking around like, hold on, what just happened here?
Platform, this AI platform One Off, where she is an investor. So she's getting 10 to 25% of every sale that she makes through those clothing.
Because think about it. This is someone who has pushed back hard against negative press, with legal teams stepping in when needed. Yet here, strength sounds like something simple, something easy to just switch on. Meanwhile, those young people weren't asking for headlines. They were there for support, not to hear a story that pulls attention away from what they're going through. So why shift the focus like that? And when you zoom out, the pattern starts to show. There was a time when Meghan had huge public support, glowing coverage everywhere, but things changed. And now, that story seems to be retold in spaces where people are already vulnerable. Some are even saying this isn't new, that leaning on big platforms has always been part of the strategy, from the royal family to global audiences, and now, maybe even Australia? But if this trip was called private by her own team, then why does it feel so public?
Every day for 10 years, I had been bullied and attacked. And I was the most trolled person in the entire world. Man, woman. And I'm still here.
So it's called a private trip. Yeah, but somehow major security resources are still in play. Wait, who's paying for all that, and why? That question alone had people in Australia fired up. Over 47,000 signatures on a petition telling Harry and Meghan to cover their own costs. That's not small noise. That's a loud message, especially when families are already dealing with rising bills and tight budgets. So of course people started asking, does this feel fair? From their point of view, it didn't sit right at all. It looked like Meghan flew in, used the moment, captured the perfect shots, and then left behind a storm of debate.
Try to bond with them like I was the most trolled person in the world. You were the most beloved person in the world. You were the most okay. And privileged, the most privileged.
Supporters said it was meaningful outreach. Critics weren't so convinced. Either way, one thing is clear. People were watching closely, and they didn't miss much. And then, things got even more talked about. Throughout the tour, Meghan leaned into this soft, warm energy around kids. Easy smiles, gentle moments, very natural vibes. But online, people started noticing something. They began comparing it to Catherine, Princess of Wales, saying the style felt familiar. But here's the thing, kids don't fake reactions. You can't script that. And there was one moment, just one look from a child. No words, no explanation, but it sparked a wave of chatter online. People replayed it, analyzed it, tried to figure out what that reaction really meant. Because sometimes a single expression says more than any speech ever could, right?
They are not working royals. They are not here on the royal agenda. They are here because they are so desperate and deluded and need the money because, of course, Meghan didn't sell enough jam.
And just when you think it can't get more intense, the final day hits. Meghan arrives at Bondi Beach, a place connected to a deeply tragic event where lives were lost and many were hurt. And now everyone's watching closely again. But what happens next? It's the kind of place where people expect quiet respect, real awareness of what happened there. But instead, something felt off right away. Meghan was smiling, laughing, moving through Bondi Beach like it was just another stop on the list. And people watching, they noticed instantly. Because when a place carries that kind of pain, you expect a different energy, right?
Harry's now being sued for defamation by the charity he co-founded. And let's be honest, everything and anything that they have touched has been a complete and utter failure.
Think about it. Most people would slow down, keep things serious, measured, respectful. That contrast, that's exactly why this moment blew up online. Everyone started asking the same thing. Did she read the room at all? Then things got even more intense. She sits down with survivors, one woman sharing a deeply painful story about protecting her child during the attack. You could feel the weight of that moment. And viewers? They were watching closely. Every reaction, every expression. People even started pointing out small details, like repeated blinking, questioning whether the emotion felt genuine or not. Was it real? Or was something else going on?
So a veteran's wife asking for an appearance fee to tour a war memorial? Go figure. Seriously.
Critics didn't hold back after that. They said the response didn't match the gravity of the story being told. Supporters pushed back, of course, but the divide? Crystal clear. And then, just when you think it couldn't get more controversial, another detail surfaces. The outfits worn during that visit reportedly promoted online later. And that hit hard. Because now people are asking, was this moment treated with the sensitivity it deserved? And somehow, in between shelters, memorials, and mental health events, she still found time to film a guest spot on MasterChef Australia. Wait, what? Let that sink in. A cooking show appearance right in the middle of all this? And not just any appearance, reportedly around $300,000. So now the questions are coming fast. Why her? Because here's the thing. She's had past food projects that didn't exactly take off. Moments on camera where people questioned her kitchen skills. And yet, she's introduced as a guest judge on one of Australia's biggest cooking shows. Even a professional chef spoke out, calling it a joke, saying MasterChef is supposed to represent real skill. So now everyone's wondering, how did this actually happen? And this is where the criticism really hit, because a lot of people were like, wait, what skills are we actually seeing here? Contestants on MasterChef train for years. They grind in real kitchens. They earn that spot. The difference? They don't walk in with a royal title attached to their name. And critics couldn't ignore that. To them, it felt like that title was doing most of the work, not experience. Even the group photo had people talking. Because yep, she's right there, front and center again. Coincidence or pattern? Then things shift again. This time to Sydney. A luxury wellness retreat called Her Best Life. Sounds calm, right? Peaceful? Until you see the price tag. Up to $3,200 for a weekend. Yoga, sound healing, drinks, and a photo with Meghan. But here's the part that made people pause. Tickets were still available just days before it started. For something that exclusive, that expensive, shouldn't it have sold out instantly? And it gets even tighter, literally. Guests walk into strict rules. No phones, no recordings, high security everywhere. A fully controlled environment. And people started wondering, why so controlled? What's not meant to be seen? Now, here's the moment that really had people talking. Meghan arrives at 5 p.m., and by 7, she's gone. 2 hours. That's it? Guests paid thousands, and she couldn't stay the full evening? And the reason? Not an emergency, not something serious. She left for a rugby match. Yeah, a match. So imagine sitting there at an event you paid big money for, and the main person is already out the door? What does that say?
And just when you think it settles, it circles back to that earlier visit, Macaulay Community Services. On the surface, it looked perfect. Serving food, smiling, cameras capturing everything. But viewers started zooming in, analyzing every second. The moment she hands over a plate, there's the smile. But then it shifts, fast. People pointed to her body language, saying it felt tense, maybe even forced. And then came one line that really stuck with people. She asked, "How hungry are you?" Now, that question might sound simple, but in that setting, with everything else going on, people started asking, what did she really mean by that? And that one line, "How hungry are you?" Yeah, it didn't sit right with a lot of people. In a shelter setting where people are already going through so much, critics said it felt out of place, almost tone deaf. And then, here comes another layer. She shows up wearing high-end jewelry, designer pieces reportedly worth tens of thousands. So now the question gets louder. Luxury fashion in a space meant for people in need? Does that contrast feel right? Because when you step back and look at the whole tour, some critics weren't seeing just charity visits or heartfelt speeches anymore. They were seeing something else. A carefully built setup, polished moments, emotional scenes, big-name appearances, all tied together. And people started asking, what's the bigger picture here? Then, flashback to 2018, Meghan arrives in Australia for the first time, and huge crowds pack outside the Sydney Opera House just to catch a glimpse of her. It's massive attention, global-level spotlight. But reports claim she reacted with surprise, even saying, "What are they all doing here? It's silly." Wait, really? That moment stuck with people, because how do you step into one of the most famous families in the world and still seem shocked by that level of attention?
And it doesn't stop there. Behind the scenes, more claims started surfacing. Reports saying she questioned why she wasn't being paid for appearances, even back then, when support was at its peak. So now critics are connecting the dots, wondering if the idea of turning attention into income was always there from the start. To them, it felt like everything was already in place, and still it wasn't enough. But if those early moments raised eyebrows, what does it mean now, when nothing seems to be holding things back? Deals started falling apart. Projects didn't hit the way they expected. And yeah, suddenly the pressure was real. So what happens next? They pivot. They lean back into the titles, lock in the Australia trip, and get moving fast. Reports claim Harry pulled in around $70,000 for a single speech. Meghan steps into paid roles like that MasterChef appearance. Outfits from public visits start getting promoted. And just like that, the spotlight isn't just attention anymore. It's working. And then comes the number that had everyone talking, $10 million. Not officially confirmed, but repeated everywhere as what critics believe the trip generated. Every stop, every handshake, every emotional moment people thought was pure goodwill, others saw something way more strategic behind it. To them, this wasn't random. It was calculated, polished, and finally profitable in a way it hadn't been before. So now the real question is, when public moments start looking like business moves, where do you even draw the line?